fast forward in come over Chinese, so I'll say AGH Politics Avenue. Podcast source at training because making headlines. And a gym need to be exum or need me on Braxium and the AD Kanya. Mr. Subit subscribe to the channel. His notification bell so share now for friends who answer into me in Kabi. Need more Braxium, Mr. Oxayam Bongra Yin Simon. Pacho a justice Atuguba. Justice Atuguba. Justice Atuguba. Utimi haite hard on Torkornoo. Only enya sem koto akra. Tutubi edi amana no. Wanele no. Nsema hodoa. Odugu aponso de only enya sem koto akra. At this point in time, maame no esro yi no asase ayi no. Supreme Court odi enyade obesi obi mu. Black Rasta ajembre awobo nsemi mu nchiremu. At this point in time yen sembre yompongwa na so ye enhwe de ko ani de ba. Chinoswam say how say AGH Politics Avenue.
It is finished. Justice Atuguba nails CJ Torkornoo's coffin. Now, she was receiving a salary of about 62,000 Ghana cedis. Doctors in Ghana, the young doctors, new doctors, they receive between 11,000 and 13,000 Ghana cedis as new doctors. This is a well-established woman, well-accomplished, until recently when she had issues. She was supposed to retire on her salary. In other words, if she had retired without these issues, she would have had at least some 60,000 in her account every month. But many have said that she's losing all her entitlements. One justice retired, Atuguba, who everybody knows. Me and you were not there. The Supreme Court of Ghana, William Atuguba, Justice William Atuguba. He's a luminary when it comes to our law. Many people respect him. What is he saying about the Chief Justice, who has just been fired? What Supreme Court panel, led by Atuguba, Sophia Akuffo, said about pension of dismissed judge? Run it. It's a long story. And when you read the story, it is interesting. In March 2008, High Court Judge Justice Edward Watson was convicted and subsequently dismissed for investing over $50,000 meant for a litigant. Hey, 2008. Following his dismissal, he filed a lawsuit in the High Court to challenge the forfeiture of his retirement package. Now, the High Court referred the case to the Supreme Court since it bordered on the Constitution, impeachment, and the gratuity enjoyed by justices of the Superior Court. In other words, it sought for interpretation of some articles of the Constitution from the Apex Court. And what happened? They went into it. In their argument, the court's lawyers for Justice Watson argued that the former High Court judge was on retirement when he was convicted, and therefore he was entitled to his retirement package notwithstanding the conviction. However, the 7-member panel of the Supreme Court, chaired by the then Chief Justice Sophia Akuffo, which had the following members: Justice Sule Badegbe, Justice William Atuguba, Justice Sophia Edinyira, Justice Jones Doche, Justice Vida Akotobamfo, and Justice Gabriel Pwaman, threw out the case of the dismissed High Court judge. So he lost it all. They ruled that although retired on December 11, 2011 and convicted on July 19, 2013, he was interdicted on May 10, 2005 after he was charged with the offenses. So, dash it away. CJ Torkornoo, former CJ, it looks like it's over. But Justice Atuguba is still talking, right? What is he saying? He's made it clear that the right processes for removing the Chief Justice have all been tackled. And therefore, there is no issue with the Chief Justice's removal. So she has lost all her benefits. She was supposed to retire on her salary. But as it stands right now, Madam is going home with nothing. She's still fighting the case in court, but with voices like those of Justice William Atuguba. Is it not going to be interesting how this case is going to go? And so far, Akuffo is actually in support of CJ Gertrude Torkornoo. But in that case of Justice Boateng, what happened? They threw it out because he was, in fact, convicted. Former CJ Sophia Akuffo is not really talking about the conviction. What she's talking about is the fact that this woman, whatever it was, should not have been enough grounds for her removal. That is what she's looking at. But if she had been convicted, according to her, appropriately, she should have lost everything. But appropriately or inappropriately, it looks like there has been a conviction. And she has been sacked. So it looks like the death knell has been pronounced. And Atuguba has nailed the coffin of Gertrude Esaba Torkornoo. The nail has been driven into a coffin. Bam! And on that note, it's the Black Pot, aka Kokushonomo, where we speak truth to power. Unpaid salaries, young medical doctors cry. Oh, this is a sad story. A few days ago, some young medical doctors who were just employed last year, January, thereabout, started crying that their salaries have not been paid. What was the reason? They said they didn't have clearance from finance. I decided to place a call to the Ministry of Finance and also the Controller and Accountant General's office. And it came out that it is true. They don't have clearance. What is clearance? Government will say, okay, we have given this ministry this quota of employments. You can employ up to 50 people within a certain space of time. If you are not able to employ up to that, it expires. And you shouldn't employ more than that, or else the rest of them, my brother, my sister, will not be able to get clearance. This is what is happening to over 1,000 doctors across Ghana, young doctors. Some of them have worked for more than 11 months, no salary. Males and females, and they are crying. They have been promised over and over, oh, this month of August it will work. August came and went away, still no clearance. Now, according to the Controller and Accountant General's office, clearance is still not here, therefore they cannot be paid. What is going to happen to these doctors? And even nurses are crying. Nurses are crying. And they want to go on strike. A 3-day strike. Watch the story. This is not good at all. A lot of these nurses are running out to England and some other places. The nation spent a lot to train all these people. Is this where we want to end it? Unpaid nurses to stage 3-day demonstrations and strike. Over 7,000 posted nurses who have been unpaid since January have threatened to embark on a 3-day demonstration to press the government to settle their outstanding arrears. According to a representative of the nurses, the decision stems from the government's failure to heed their September 2025 ultimatum. That's straight away. Now the problem is this. A lot of these people were employed in the Nana Addo Dankwa Akuffo government. And because of that, clearance was not given. It is said that at the time that the new president was coming in and was announcing that employment should stop for the time being and all that, many people were still being employed to save face. Party people who were hoping the party would have won so that they will move on, now they were pushing some of the people into employment just to say, oh, we did this for you, putting pressure on the budget. Now the budget is under pressure, and the Mahama government is not finding it easy to settle all these people. Pressure. All these people, a big chunk of them were not employed by this government. They were employed last minute to put pressure on the system. Whatever it is, we need the doctors, we need the nurses, we must find money and pay them, or else if they happen to move out of this country, there would be a problem. I'm going to keep following this issue and we'll see where it goes. And to the nurses and doctors, we'll just ask you for a little bit more of some patience. We know that you are overstretched, but as it is, your reward is in heaven. It's the Black Pot, aka Kukushonomo, where we speak truth to power. Godfrey Dame, hot again as Jakpa wakes up sleeping lion. Now when they say let the sleeping dogs lie, my brother, my sister, it simply means that the issue that is gone by, blown away, let it stay in the echelons of obscurity. That's what it means. The dead issue, let it remain dead. The Asantes have a very beautiful saying that I love. If you are dead, just enjoy your grave. When issues come and they are blown off, we normally would like them to go away and then rest in peace. But there are some issues that do not deserve to be left to sleep like sleeping dogs. And that is what Richard Jakpa is saying. Now, Richard Jakpa is an interesting personality. This is Richard Jakpa. He loves his hat and he also loves his glasses. He was a soldier, a military man. And then at a point, he was sacked from the military. They have their own terms for that. My brother, my sister, he was kicked out. We are told that he wrote a certain exam 8 solid times. He was never able to pass that because of misbehavior in the military, indiscipline in the military. He was kicked out, sent off without any honors. He has tried to respond to this in so many different interviews. But that is a fact. That is what is here with us, and we know that. So this man has some knowledge of the military, some guerrilla tactics. When President John Dramani Mahama came into power, he probably told himself, you know what? Yes, this man was kicked out of the military, but I think we can still make a very good use of him in the national security. So let me put him in charge of special operations. And then the Rambo style work began. Richard Jakpa moved from house to house, terrorizing former appointees of Nana Addo Dankwa Akuffo. I was one of those that came out and applauded and jubilated. We were tired of the 8 years of stealing, robbery, arrogance, and so on and so forth, irresponsible behavior. So when Richard Jakpa came out, ferociously, roaring like the lion, we were ready to push the lion to do more destruction on our enemies, the enemies of the state. Many condemned his style. Many others try to unearth some really nasty things about him. But there was a certain ambulance deal. Ambulance. Some ambulances were imported into the country in the days of John Dramani Mahama. And the man in the center of the whole activity was Akuffo. They were still in opposition when the matter was raging like a ferocious storm. Now watch what happened next. The matter went to court. And Nana Addo Akuffo Addo wanted to see a finality to the issue. Akuffo must go to jail, we were told, no matter what. So Godfred Dame, who was the Attorney General at the time, the country's lawyer, he had to do everything possible to see Akuffo thrown into jail. And this is Godfred Dame. He was the Attorney General in the days of Nana Addo Akuffo Addo. And according to Richard Jakpa, he has him on tape saying that the president, Nana Addo Akuffo Addo, by hook or crook, wants Akuffo to go to jail. It's not about you. He also had an issue which had to do with some fertilizers, the supply of some fertilizers and all that. But it's not about fertilizers. It's about Akuffo and the ambulances. Help me to be able to pin down Akuffo, KCL Akuffo, Dr. KCL Akuffo. Find his photograph. And once I get him pinned down, trust me, I have a deal with you. We will forget about you and you will go free. And this conversation supposedly happened in the house of a very learned lawyer, a very, very powerful lawyer, in fact, who was elevated all the way to the Supreme Court, Lawyer Yoni Kulendi. My brother, my sister. Now, Yoni Kulendi was probably trying to arbitrate. So he invited Richard Jakpa and the Attorney General then, Godfred Dame, to the truth table, better still the arbitration table. Let us discuss this. And when Richard Jakpa was going there, he used his old-time military tactics. He was able to plant recorders on him in very obscure places that no metal detector could find. And when he sat on the arbitration table, he recorded everybody so clearly. And Godfred Dame could be heard on the tape as it was played back in court. My brother, my sister, saying that, you know what? The president is so much in a hurry to see a finality to this issue. He wants to jail Dr. KCL Akuffo to make a certain point. So it's not about you. And this is Dr. KCL Akuffo. The whole issue was like an albatross around his neck, young and affable. He's the Minister of Finance right now, doubling also as the Minister of Defense. He has a lot on his bald head. You know what happened next? This was recorded. And the matter went to court. Richard Jakpa was exonerated and pushed out of the shackles of prison. And he went out. Now his party is in power. He's enjoying some real goodwill. He is the boss of the special operations of the almighty national security. He has power and he's spreading it around like Pekle during the Humber War. Today, he is waking up the sleeping lion. It's no more a dog, it's a lion. Watch this. Jakpa clashes with Godfred Dame, demands CID investigation into alleged fabrication. Oh, God have mercy. Richard Jakpa, Director of Special Operations at the National Security, has petitioned the Criminal Investigations Department, CID, of the Ghana Police Service to urgently investigate allegations that former Attorney General Godfred Dame attempted to fabricate evidence during the trial of Dr. Akuffo and 2 others. Jakpa, who was the 3rd accused person in the high-profile ambulance procurement case involving then minority leader Dr. Akuffo, has stated that Godfred Dame misconducted himself when he allegedly solicited his cooperation to incriminate Akuffo. Unambiguous, clear. Now, in a formal petition addressed to the director of CID, Jakpa detailed that the then Attorney General wanted him to testify in a manner to incriminate the first accused, Dr. Akuffo, and to help fast-track the conclusion of the case. Same thing that we told you. He alleged.
We and some who team course watching on so. Mamma was so dim rewa. That's any so bad in there to be Edwina. Union Saint Sherman, Nayan Sumo Masokra. Age Politics Avenue.